Hi, it is April 24th, 2023. Today was my first day at my new job, so I've returned to the world of accounting, which I have been absent from for about 6 months. Uh, and yeah, it seems like a great opportunity for me. I'm We're on the 16th floor of one of the big buildings in Midtown Phoenix, and I have a nice office, kind of um, big window overlooking West Phoenix. I can see all the way. We're in Central Phoenix, basically. I can see all the way. I can see the Cardinals Stadium in the background. I mean, I'm so far above the rest of the city, I can really see the whole city from my vantage point, and so it's a nice view, and I got a a nice big TV in my office, which um, I don't know, will maybe be able to hook up some of the Roku and get the poker go streaming later this year as the World Series is going on. So even if I'm not able to be there, at least I can kind of sweat some of the people I know, and just when there's a lot of people in the poker community I'm familiar with, and um, it's always kind of fun to watch. Obviously, I'm going to be focused on work primarily, but I think it'll be kind of cool to have that as a little perk. I'm really I'm motivated to do good work, and um, yeah, it's okay. I've done I've done some shitty jobs in my day. I mean, I've cleaned dishes and toilets. I mean, I've cleaned fucking shit off the wall. I've worked in a fucking engine room where it was 100 and fucking some odd degrees in there, and you just sweltering to death, opening and closing these valves. So yeah, I got it pretty good, man. And they're paying me a salary that's gonna be more than what my I project my expenses are gonna be. And so, for the time being, I expect that I'll be able to save money, and with my savings, I'll hopefully be able to accumulate more precious metals and other assets that I expect to do well given the economic circumstances that exist. And, I really think, if you're sitting there and you're watching the gold price every day and you're just thinking, man, when's it going to break out? When is this charade going to be over? Which, I've spent time in my life doing that. I don't think that's the right approach. I think that for the most part, people should be focused on earning a living and cutting their expenses to a point where their living is better than their expenses, where they're able to save money. And I think this is just a basic fundamental principle of personal finance that remains true in all economic conditions. You save money, you save for a rainy day. And, a lot of people don't have a ton of skills, they don't have a ton of income. And I think for a lot of people, what that means is they're really going to have to find ways to cut their expenses. And there are ways that people can do that. People can take on roommates, they can live with family. I mean, I'm in a situation like that myself right now, where I'm essentially paying a lower rent than what I might have to pay if I were out on my own. And I'm making this personal sacrifices necessary. I don't take a lot of expensive vacations. I don't buy a lot of expensive clothes and uh, the things that different people can spend their money on. I mean, I try to be pretty frugal, and um, because, it would be nice someday to get to the point where I can permanently take time off, retire essentially. And the way you get there is by saving money throughout your life, throughout your working career, and investing it well. And I believe that the places that I'm invested in are good places to be invested in. And I have a little bit of a nest egg, but certainly not one that's enough where I feel comfortable that I could retire at the current time. And, um, it's possible some of my investments will do so well that I'll be able to do that um, at a younger age than uh, is typical. But that remains to be seen. And I think until I get to that point, the best thing I can do is focus on making income and saving. So, but not saving in dollars that are losing their purchasing power, but buying real assets that I expect to maintain their purchasing power and even increase their purchasing power as water rises to its level and economic corrections take place. So, in a way, for me, my source of income will, if we ever get freedom, if we ever have a government that takes the steps that I suggest, which is ending its operations and etc., well, my line of work will shift a bit, and some of what I primarily work on now, helping people with their tax obligations, their filing requirements. Some of that work won't exist, and so my opportunities to make income in the new world might be less than what they are now. So, from my perspective, um, gold not breaking out and the collapse not happening is in a way good because it allows me to accumulate more assets prior to that event. Now, if you're not already established in a career that depends to some degree on the existence of government, then I would highly recommend starting out in a career that has no such requirement. I think the skilled trades are where it's at if you're a young person today. I think doing whatever you can do to get an entry level position, working as an electrician or a builder or um, a plumber, whatever the the building trades, a welder, whatever. These types of positions are going to be always in demand, and we have I think dearth is the word. We don't have enough people in these professions. There's a high demand. Now, most of the demand is for people who are skilled in these professions, but the way you become skilled is by becoming an apprentice, finding someone who's willing to kind of take you on and kind of teach you as you go. Um, and, hopefully you can find those kind of opportunities. There are trade schools that I think can give people some of those skills to help them get in on the ground floor. Um, but, do whatever steps are necessary to start developing those skills and that market value, because um, these skills are going to be in demand before and after the collapse. So, my belief is once we get the collapse, we're going to get freedom because people are going to decide that they don't really want to starve to death. And that's going to be the way to prevent that on a widespread scale. So, for that to happen means that there's going to be a manufacturing boom in America in the absence of government, and there's going to be a lot of demand for um, people who have any kind of skills uh, that can transfer into that type of an economy. And I mean, agriculture's going to be big, manufacturing is going to be big, uh, mining. Um, yeah, so if you're someone who, is uh, able to demand a reasonable salary in our current world and is able to save that way, then I think it makes sense to continue doing that while we can, and to save what we can and try to position ourselves for what's to come. So I feel good, man. You know, I stopped smoking marijuana a few weeks back, and I think it's been a really positive change in my life. It's something I've tried to do a lot of times, but I haven't had a lot of success. Uh, Yet I feel like this is it. I feel like this time it's gonna stick. I'm motivated to do well in my new position, and I'm motivated to take care of the things I need to take care of outside of work. I have my kids a lot of the time, and they have a lot of demands with, taking care of them and making sure um, their needs are attended to. I know I say a lot, so I'm gonna try not to do that so much for the rest of this video. It's just, if I don't say it, then it's just silence, and I guess maybe I'm not so comfortable with silence, but I think I need to be, because I'm around certain other people, and it seems like they just want to fill the silence. They don't want to just sit and let it be. It's a really sad world. I was at Denny's yesterday morning with my dad and my kids, and we were just looking out. I was looking outside the window at all these homeless people everywhere, and meanwhile, Denny's can't even find someone to hire. And I really just, I think it's sad that so many people have kind of given up and thrown in the towel and just said, I'm gonna try to do whatever I can to numb myself, to not feel, to not acknowledge the reality of my circumstances. Oh, I almost did it. When there's opportunities available, and I mean, working at Denny's probably isn't a job that's going to have the most amount of upward potential, but God, man, I mean, it's work, you know. In Atlas Shrugged, which I just did a video on, they talk about, there's one of the guys in there. She meets this beggar on the train, and she says, "Well, what kind of work are you looking for?" And he says, "Well, we don't look for kinds of work anymore. We just look for work wherever we can get it." And it reminded me of reading the Grapes of Wrath and other accounts that took place of the depictions of the Great Depression and the desperation people had for any kind of work. And I guess at this time, a lot of people have found it possible to get by without but the safety nets that have been keeping people afloat are going away. The government benefits are going away. Government jobs are going away. Again, you got a job. I mean, fuck, man. You might as well get what you can out of them assholes. You know what I mean? I mean, fuck. It's the dollar's collapsing either way. You might as well get what you can while you can. Yeah, we'll see. The new office. I don't really know the people yet. I only, I've um, really, the people I interviewed with are really the only people I've had any kind of extended conversation with at this point. And so I guess it'll take some time probably to get to know the other people. Hopefully, we get along. Hopefully, there's good vibes and people kind of enjoy going to work. And yeah, I'm not just going to be sitting all day watching TV. Don't worry. I'll get work done. But it's kind of a cool thing to have it. If I can figure out how to get a to show something, which I think I can put together. So I'm excited, man. It's exciting to kind of re-enter the fray. I left a big firm downtown 6, 7, 8 years ago to go work part time at a little firm over in Scottsdale, which then merged into a bigger firm, which then I left, went to an even smaller firm, and now I'm back downtown, back in the same building that firm I once was in, but on a higher floor. And it's kind of a cool perspective being up there, man. Yeah, sometimes it seems like, yeah, it'd be nice. It'd be nice if I could just smoke a joint, but I know where that leads to for me. It's not just one joint. It's not just one day. It's not. I'm a puff away from stoned all day. Just like I'm a puff away from a pack a day. If we're talking about nicotine, I'm a drink away from drunk all day. That's just how I'm wired. That just seems to be the way I am. But I'm grateful today. I'm not finding it necessary to do any of those. I'm prescribed no medications. I'm taking nothing over the counter. No medicine whatsoever, man. Life on life's terms, man. These communists think private property isn't important when we talk about property, meaning productive property and equipment, factories, land, things like this. But if no one owns it, no one's going to take care of it, man. Because even if you and your little communist friends are like, oh, let's grow ourselves an orchard right here. Guess what, buddy? Me and my friends, we're going to go steal your fucking fruit, man. Because ain't nothing stopping us. It's not against the fucking rules, right? Why wouldn't we, man? It wouldn't be theft because there's no property, right? I mean, they're so stupid, man. But Reality's reality, baby. And the reality is capitalism is the only fucking solution. So, with that, everyone have a real great night, man.